In this lecture, we will see different options that can be used to set the size and position of our dialog. The different options are height, width, min height, min width, max width and position. So the first 6, that is height, width, min width, max height and max width, are used to set the size of the dialog, and the position is used to set the position of the dialog. So you can use the width and height options to specify the width and height of our dialog. The values of height and width should be numbers so that the height and width will be those numbers in pixels. For height, you can also have the value auto so that the height will be adjusted based on the content. So let's first specify the height and width to be 200. So height 200 and width as well 200. And let's see the output. Refresh. See, this is the 200 height and width values. Now for height, let's specify the value as auto so that the height will be adjusted based on its content. So let me refresh. See, now the height is adjusted in such a way that the whole content is displayed and there is no gap between the content and the border. Before it was like this, that is, there was a gap between the content, that is the last line, and the border of the dialog. But when we set the value as auto, it takes only the required height, isn't it? As you see here, there is no space between the last line and the border. Okay. Now you can specify minimum height and minimum width to which your dialog can be resized using the min height and min width values. So let me specify the height and width as 200 itself, and let me specify the min height and min width as 50, that is 50 px. The default values of min height and min width are 150, so I am changing it to 50 so that we will be able to resize the dialog only a minimum of 50 pixels, both height and width. So let's refresh. Let me try to reduce the width. See, once it reaches 50 px, we will not be able to again reduce the width. Similarly, if I try to reduce the height, I can go only up to 50 px. So it looks like this. It is not even displaying the content, right? Similarly, we can set the maximum height and maximum width to which the dialog can be resized. So let me specify the max height and max width as 400. So max height 400, max width as well as 400. Now let's see, refresh. Let me try to increase the width. See, once it reaches 400, even if I try to resize, it is not resizable. Similarly, let me try to increase the width. It also stops at 400. So we have specified the max height and max width as 400, which means we can increase the height and width only up to 400 px. And the min height and min width is set to be 50, which means I can reduce the height and width up to 50 pixels. So here for min height and max height, the H should be in capital. Similarly, for min width and max width, W should be in capital. So using these 6 options, you can constrain the size of your dialog. Height, min height and max height are used to set constraints for the height of your dialog, and width, min width and max width are used to constrain the width of your dialog. Height and width are used to set the height and width of your dialog, and min height and max height are the minimum and maximum height your dialog can be resized to, and the min width and max width are the minimum and maximum width to which your dialog can be resized. Then to set the position of your dialog, you can use the position option. We have already discussed the position option in the autocomplete section. In the position option, you can have at, my and off values in case of a dialog. Okay. So let's see that. Let me remove min height, min width, max height and max width. Okay. And let me specify position, and I'm going to set values for at. So we can have horizontal and vertical alignment. So for horizontal alignment, let me specify left, and for vertical alignment, let me specify top. And let's see the output. Save, refresh. See, it is at the left top position. Let me change left to center and see the change. See, now the dialog is horizontally centered. And if I specify right here, what will happen? It will move to the right hand side. Okay. Now if I change top to center, what will happen? It will appear at the center vertically. So here it is centered. And if I specify bottom, what will happen? Refresh. It is here. So using at and even my, you can adjust the position of your dialog, and by default the dialog is attached to the window, right? Suppose you want to attach it to a specific element. What you need to do? You need to use the off option. I'm not discussing these options in detail because we have already seen all these options while discussing the position option in the autocomplete widget. So let me try to add a button here, button attach, and here if I specify off to be button, what will happen? It will attach to the button. So let's see that. Refresh. Okay, we are not able to see the button here. Let me try to remove this height and width and see it. Save. Refresh. Okay, even now we are not able to see the button. Instead of button, let me add a div with ID attach. Okay, and style this div a bit. Style hash attach. Let me set width and height to be 400 px. And let me also add a border of 5 px solid black. Okay, now let's change this to hash attach. So hash attach, and let's try to see the output. Refresh. See, now it is attached to the div element, isn't it? We haven't specified anything like at or my. We have only added off to attach, and now it is attached to the div element. So by default, the dialog is attached to the window, and if you want to change, you can change it using the off option in the position option. So position option can have 3 values in case of a dialog, and they are at, my and off. So in this lecture we have seen 7 different options. They are width, height, min width, min height, max width, max height, and position.